Hey, what's up? It's your boy djelf7. Today I got a very special guest. Now, usually I let my guests introduce themselves, but today I'm going to introduce this guy, Josh, and I had this kind of little hashtag going, Josh, not Vosh, on Twitter. The thing is that, right, like, I'm going to put it out there. There's very few people that I'm, like, I don't really, I've been, I don't like, I consider myself the outsider. So when people, like, you know, say like that's a person I don't like and they find it as reason to bond, I find it disgusting. But to tell you the truth, this guy Vosh, right, like the way he be attacking people is just way too far, man. I really don't appreciate it. But this guy Josh that I met, right, he's also a Biden supporter, but he, as far like I've talked to him before, I feel like he's a rational guy. You know what I mean? I like his videos. He's not a. Some people want to call him establishment tool. Honestly, if you watch his videos, you'll see that he actually, probably is. If you can take off the lenses of the rage-filled lenses, whatever. Honestly, his content's pretty good, and he actually has. I agree with a lot of the things that he says. So, I had to. I freaking kept bugging him because I just I know how some people are and in this movement, and I know that they're gonna be beating on my boy Josh over here, but that's not really cool. You know what I mean? And what you're doing is you're just like transforming, right? I've seen it happen to a lot of other content producers as well. You keep beating on them, and then you basically drive them towards a more extreme position, which isn't cool at all. Josh is a cool guy, so please give him a chance. I know like he's dusting it with some other pan members like D Pierce and stuff like that, which I love Pierce too. But I just think that this guy's worth hearing, and I twist his arm to bring him on the show. So thank you for coming, Josh.
Well, I appreciate that. Thanks for plugging me and considering me. Yes, I absolutely agree. I think that all of us sometimes from time to time will maybe lose our patience, particularly in this season where we feel our candidates are or our agenda, where America's going, where the world's going, is so important to us, and we become very passionate about it. So I'm a very forgiving person, and I hope other
Yeah,
people are as well, and we
yeah.
can just move on from that,
I can't stand.
whatever
I can't
whatever
stand
those
to see anybody
those differences
mistreated.
are.
That's why I'm a big Tulsi
So
supporter. I can't stand it when people get mistreated. You know what I mean? And sometimes people who have been mistreated lash out. You know what I mean? And we gotta like give them a little bit of understanding. But my man Josh over here, he's always impressed me. So I know a lot of people out there will be mad, right? Because he's a Biden supporter. But look, I let's talk about it. Yeah, let's talk about it. Let's have a rational discussion. We can do this. We don't have to like paint each other's caricatures of each other. You know what I mean? Like, so let's talk about it. So, first of all, this Biden thing, right? A lot of people are against it. So, what are obviously you think that they're probably maybe misconstruing things? What do you think is probably one of the biggest misconceptions out there about Biden, maybe, or supporting Biden or whatever over Trump?
yeah, I think it's important to have a nuanced discussion when we're thinking about Obama and Biden's record,
Okay.
and also where his policies are currently, where he's going with his vision for America. I did vote for Jill Stein in 2016. I did a primary, this primary in 2020, and also in 2016 I voted for Bernie Sanders. Um, I would have voted for maybe Yang or Tulsi, except that I was going more for who I thought would win. Um, like have the potential to win the election, the primary, and I didn't feel at that point, because I'm in the state of California, um, I didn't feel Tulsi had a very good chance, and Yang had already dropped out. Marion Williamson had already dropped out.
Okay. If I could just
So
pause for a second. So, guys, if you're
sure.
listening, ladies, if you're listening, this guy voted for Bernie. I on his channel, he said positive things about Tulsi and Yang. I will verify this for myself. This guy is not the enemy. What are you doing? What are you doing? This guy is not an enemy. Stop it. Okay, stop it. This guy is a friend. He's an ally. Okay, continue on.
Appreciate that.
No problem.
Um, I do think that what it's a very good thing to criticize the Democratic Party, particularly given everything we've gone through in the past 40 years, how they've kind of drifted more and more right, and moved toward big money and lobbyists and things like that, and war machine. So I get all of that, right?
Yeah.
Um, the difference here, I think, for me is I'm trying to make sure we have a nuanced discussion, because amidst all of that, as hard as it may be for some people to hear, and it was very difficult for me to swallow this, because when Bernie had lost, or Tulsi dropped out, or Yang dropped out, etc., I was very disappointed and distraught. And I had to make a choice, like, am I going to go third party this time around or not? Or am I going to, give Biden a chance, and I looked into his policies, and I looked into his history, and I come to understand that he did some good things along with some horrible things, and he has some good policies that he's set forth for our agenda. Now, I understand why people may not necessarily trust that he's going to keep his promises. I get that. He has kept some of them. He hasn't kept some of them, like most politicians. And we also have to keep in mind that even a third-party candidate, we don't know whether or not they're going to follow through on a lot of their policies, and they don't even have a history, a track record we can follow. So that's just something to bear in mind.
Yep. Also, one thing that I want to just mention for like a lot of the doubters out there, right? Actually, we had an interesting discussion in the PAN network over there, right? The thing is that, right, out of all the people in PAN, I have probably done the most to promote third parties, right? I've been in the Green Party for 20 years, blah, 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 and all this other thing, right? But one thing that I've always noticed, right, what do the pros do, right? The thing is that if we look at Bernie, if we look at Tulsi, if we look at Yang, right, these people are like NBA players, you know what I mean? They are playing this game every day. It's their job, you know what I mean? And, maybe not so much for Yang, but, like he got involved, he's playing at a high level. You get what I mean? And a lot of these people that are like out here on the sidelines, right, they're working their job, you know what I mean? And then they just kind of like consume it as a, as a side person, you know what I mean? And the thing is that what do the pros do? You know what I mean? Like the pros are making these choices for reasons. You get what I mean? And if you think that as an armchair quarterback that you can outthink, right, the NFL player, well, you know what I mean? Like maybe there's something to it. Like maybe you should just dive just a little bit deeper to really try to understand why do the pros all make these moves, and when it all seems so dumb. Maybe I'm so much better than the pros, right? Yeah, maybe you're not. Maybe you're not,
Yeah,
right? Maybe you're not.
and also on a counter note to that, is like we were talking back and forth prior to this discussion, and you were pointing out that everybody comes in with a different lens as to why they're considering a particular candidate or a particular vote, and so some people might be very invested in that particular topic, whether it be UBI, whether it be the war machine, whatever it is. So that's great. Yeah. But I think that, to me, this is a unique year in that we do have a Donald Trump who has his way, and his own way of running government, or the lack thereof. So it's a very unique position we're in. Coupling that with if you look at, just as you said, all the quarterbacks, not only Tulsi and Bernie and all of those are saying, no, let's consider Biden. But also, even if you look at some of the big YouTube people, like Vosh or like Kyle Kalinske, people that in 2016 did in fact vote third party, are now saying, we're on the brink of potentially having our democracy, being at risk here. So let's really look at this, okay, and also consider whether or not that playbook has worked in the past 40 years. And I know people will say, well, has the neoliberal playbook worked? And that's a good argument, and I certainly am not going to challenge that. I get that. But I do think that those nuanced discussions, hopefully we can have some of those here,
one thing that I have to admit, like, that I don't understand is this whole neoliberal term. What is a neoliberal? Like, it just seems like it's just a handy term to like just label someone, so you could just say bad. But what if you look at the dictionary term and then what people are calling a neoliberal, it's not always jiving up. So what the heck is a neoliberal? I don't even get it. What is a neoliberal?
Yeah, I think that the way a lot of people, political junkies, particularly on the left, consider, and even on the right to some extent, consider neoliberalism to be the war machine and the sort of lobbyist and the money machine, the dark money, and how that dominates a particular philosophy of capitalism on steroids, along with profiteering through money and oil and things like that, and
Yeah, look, that's
in the
getting up.
guise
Yeah,
of
like
human qualities
if
of
the word like if
spreading
the
the
word
wisdom.
like war, like if it's like warmonger, like that's clear. You know what I mean? Neoliberal, like
Yeah.
if it includes all this like weird stuff like oil and come on, man. You know what I mean? Like to make one term encompass all these things to different degrees. You know what I mean? It's just to me, it's just such a
Yeah.
vague term. I just don't. I just don't
It,
understand it, and
it
I just can't
does
buy it.
blind people to the nuances. You're absolutely right, because
Yeah,
people tend to, just kind of throw that out there, hoping that, mud will stick. And
and it's completely
there is so much
reductionist.
nuance out there.
It's
And it's also
reductionist.
neocon and neoliberal. So it's not just a
Yeah,
neoliberal
you're a
paradigm,
neolib. Like okay, like that means that you completely understand me, right? Like what? That's I always thought that's all that someone gets reduced to just being a neolib. Whatever that means, I have no idea what that means. So, and I guarantee there's people who have different definitions of it. I don't even know what the hell they're talking about. Yeah. Okay.
I
So
absolutely agree with you, because I think that, we do stand the same kind of potential of being labeled if we're not careful. Like what you
yeah,
do to someone can be thrown back at you, because if we're going to call everybody neoliberal and shut them out, then we stand just as much,
I don't.
possibility of being called radical,
I don't even know what
or,
neoliberal means. Like at least radical, I could
yeah.
understand, right? A radical, like there's like you have conservative, you have revolutionary
Hmm.
radicals, you have different like terminologies, right? Like that one I can
Right, right.
understand, right? But neolib, oh, that's so vague, right? And the word liberal, right? New liberal, right? And then war, and I'm like, what? What? It's just too broad, like with all these weird little nuances that just don't make any sense to me. So I'm sorry if we could just stay away from terms like that just don't make sense to me and just keep things real simple. I would appreciate it. Yeah, not these weird terms like
Yeah.
SWJ and stuff like
Oh yeah, I'm all
yeah.
about policy, and
Okay.
like discussing that and looking into the details of how, the different candidates are different, and
Yeah.
why what going
Okay.
one way versus the other might make more sense to me, versus maybe something else makes more sense to you.
Yeah. Now, one thing that I've never been convinced of that actually you alluded to that one reason why you feel like Biden is the choice, right, is because you feel like Trump somehow is a unique danger or threat, and I would like to learn more about that. So, why do you feel that Trump is like this big,
Well, I
unique
wouldn't say
problem?
he's necessarily unique in a general sense, but I think in very specific ways he has accelerated the nation toward a type of fascism that already has been brewing, in the course of the last 40 years. And if we're
Okay.
wanting to pull this off, we have to make a choice as to whether or not, in my opinion, we want to accelerate it with the potential of it collapsing. And out of that is born even a more fascistic responses. We're seeing even in Washington or in Wisconsin or Portland, people are coming out to protest, and they're trying to push the envelope, but then you're having law enforcement push back even harder. And there is that potential that if you upset the apple cart too much, he's just the type of person who would respond not to hear you and what your concerns are, but rather respond with what he calls law and order, and push you
See,
even harder
that stuff I
into
don't really.
sort of the danger
Yeah.
zone.
I'm not sure. Like, okay, so the thing is that like. Tell you the truth, I haven't been watching the protests that closely because I was involved in protests a lot when I was younger, and I didn't really see it like accomplish a lot. I guess things are happening now to a certain extent, but you hear these weird numbers. I don't know what to believe with the numbers. Anyway, they said 93% of the protests were peaceful. I don't even know whether to believe that or not. But okay, so you feel like Trump is actually his shutting down of the protesters. You feel like that's uniquely like fascist?
No, not necessarily. It's unique to him.
Okay,
You have seen, if you think about Ferguson, you think about what happened at the Dakota Pipe access
because
line. That
like
was under Obama's watch, right?
yeah, yeah. But when like the thing is
So
that
it
right like
isn't.
like
Mhm.
okay the thing is that like look, I'm in the hood a lot, you know what I mean, and like there's so many
Yeah,
parties where like cops bust in and do like weird shit, you know what I mean, and that never gets reported, you get what I mean. So for me,
absolutely.
right, like the fact that there's like reporting on some of the stuff now, like and also like a lot of the protests, um like a lot of that's like I don't know if you saw the M Tracy thing.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
I mean, it depends on what
So
you're referring to specifically, but
there, like where he was like in, and like there was some kid who looks like a, some white kid dressed in all black, right? And he's like, yo, like, are you filming me? You know what I mean? Yeah. The thing is
Mhm.
that,
Oh
right,
yeah,
like I've been around like cats like who've been in jail, like a lot of cats who've been in jail, right? It just happens like in poor neighborhoods, just hanging around, really, you know what I mean? Like just plus like being a street cat, you know what I mean? And also like being around hip hop and stuff, like not that it's a good thing, but it's just something that's around, right? So I'm also familiar with street culture, and also I've been super poor, so I've been like also around like there's a lot of like punks that are like live on the streets too. It's not all like like the inner city is not like people like solely black, right? So the thing is that like
hmm
in like that kid could have been on probation, and honestly, right, that's just a street thing. You know what I mean? If you popping off like that, like MPC was like, no, I don't gotta like turn on my camera. No, like I don't have to fucking blur your face. You know what I mean? Yo, honestly,
hmm
anytime you could get smacked for fucking mouthing off like that, that's just a street thing. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
So to say that that's something unique to the protesters, and also like this Antifa
Yeah.
thing. Like, look, before I was like, I don't know if you saw the probably not, right? But the thing is that like, I've actually done, because I've been homeless, I have a close affinity and love for homeless people. So the thing is that like I work with Food Not Bombs to give out free food. I've also done for Salvation Army, just any organization that would like help out the homeless. And guess what? Antifa's there. You know what I mean? Because it's has
Right.
anarchist background. So you know what I mean?
hmm
Like there's this caricature painted of the protesters. The caricature, and I think, I've also actually I don't know if I've told you before, but I also trained police officers. So
Right.
I understand what they go through, like like having to like restrain people and stuff like that.
Right.
And it's easy to call them fascists and to and some of them are bad. I've had bad experiences with the cops too, but I also know like the difficulties that they have to face off. You're going through a door and dudes on the other side have guns, and I'm not proud to say it, but I've been in those situations too. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like shit
Yeah,
ain't real, bro.
absolutely. I'm
You know what I
not
mean?
I'm not
Like
making this
yeah.
into a protesters versus police thing. I don't think that's, it's a very complex, dynamic that describes this. It's like it's not just because of the capitalistic, on hyperdrive for the past 40 years. It's exasperating that, but also a history of racism coupled with despondent leaders, so forth and so on.
I think
The
also too,
problem
yeah, that
is
there's a lot.
with when you have someone like Donald Trump who takes a side, he's divisive. He doesn't. He takes a side, and he
Hmm.
also fans the flames. He throws in rhetoric
Yeah.
that juices the division, and it just ramps it up to a dangerous level. And you can see already in the course of 3 to 4 years where we are, and Proud Boys versus Antifa, Bungaloo Boys, and what went on in Kenosha, and the kid who is carrying arms, and he's just 17, and his life's gonna be ruined. He ruined two people's lives by killing them, um, and like that degree of degradation that happened in just the course of 3.5 years. Imagine another 4 years of that. We need to get him out of office. He's in the way he managed, or lack of managed, the COVID-19. He spreads lies, disinformation, calling it a hoax. He doesn't believe in climate change. We're at this is a very unique, at least with Obama, even though I agree. I get everything everyone talks about when they talk about, how, what happened at Dakota Access Pipeline, and what happened at Ferguson. I get all of that, and the crime, and how police treated people, and things like that. That's not unique to Trump. I get that. But what is unique to Trump is his ability to incite it, and to exacerbate the situation, and to actually take a side. He's literally taking a side and spreading conspiracy theories of QAnon, and people are now getting elected that are QAnon. Um,
Wait, what is
so I
QAnon?
think
What
that's
is
what's so unique
What
about
is
this.
QAnon?
QAnon is a group of people that actually believe that Trump was sent by God to
What?
cleanse the
Oh my
government
god.
from pedophiles. And
Oh
in
wow.
this case, the pedophiles are mainly Democrats, and some Republicans, people like Clinton, and they go and they eat babies, and
They
they
eat
feed off of
babies?
their a particular type of hormone that's supposed to keep them young. And
is
this is a world cabal
this in
that
any way
Trump
related to
is hero
Pizzagate?
coming in. It's related to Pizzagate. That's
Oh my
part of
god,
what
I
started.
saw a little something about Pizzagate popping up recently. That's hilarious. I'm sorry.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean is it isn't necessarily that the he as that saying goes, Trump is just a byproduct of the system. That's absolutely true. However, he is, imagine if you will, someone who has a particular disease or an illness, and you said, well, your illness is a result of like many years of being unhealthy. You didn't exercise, you ate all the stuff, blah, blah, blah. But the difference here is that in this instance, you have a severe reaction. You have severe symptoms right now that could kill you. It may not even be the symptoms. It may not be the disease itself that's going to kill you. It's actually going to be the symptoms that might get you.
Hmm.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, that's
Now,
true. I mean, I could. That
well,
is true.
that's
That
what I'm
sometimes
saying
symptoms kill
is we
people.
need
Yeah.
time. We need time. If we want to build a third party,
Yeah.
because we're going to need time, and Biden is going to provide us that time, that bridgeway. He's going to bring America together. He's going to, like whether you agree with his policies or not, whether you think they're watered down,
Do
he's
you,
going to give us a space where he actually respects democracy. He's not going to divide people. He's going to bring them together, try to bring them together.
right.
And to some degree, we'll have leverage with him. He'll listen to some degree with progressives, and he'll pass some mild progressive policies, be they watered down and small.
Okay. Just so you know, I've actually been part of third party movements for like I said, like over 20 years. And the thing is that third party movements have a lot of problems too. They have all the same problems that the Democrats and Republicans do. It's not like they're third party, so all of a sudden, like, God from heaven said, like, thou shalt create no evil. You know what I mean? Like, they have their
Mhm.
megalomaniacs. They have people that are,
Absolutely. You saw what happened with the whole Ventura and Howie thing. Like that didn't go over very well, did it? And I think that if you look at Howie today, he's weaker. The Green Party is weaker now than it was in 2016, and so is progressives. We're more fractured and broken. This whole theory that came out, I think we were gaslighted in 2016, 2015 by social media, left social media. And I
yeah,
think they sincerely believed what they were propagating, that if we elect Trump, the Democrats are going to listen. They're going to say, look, we lost. We didn't listen to the progressives. That the opposite happened. We also believed that it was going to bring all the people together that are progressives. The Green Party were going to coalesce to beat Trump, but that didn't happen. The opposite happened. So this
yeah.
idea that we're going to repeat that same thing and lead to a different result, to me, is personally, I just don't feel it's logical.
So I mean, I have to tell you that, like, I just have to admit to you that as in terms of like identifying Trump as and some of the things make sense. Like, yeah, he is like inflammatory, right? That there's no one can deny that, right? But as in terms of saying that you know, I don't necessarily agree that getting rid of Trump will bias the necessary time. But I can see it both ways. You know what I mean? Like, I can see reason behind what you say, and I can see reason behind other people's interpretation, and I think it's fair. I'm not really maybe people whatever, but I
If
get
you
where you're
have
coming
any,
from, right? I don't necessarily
if you
agree with
have
every
any
point, but
doubt in your mind, though, like
yeah,
about that he might really, continue what we've seen, really a quick quickening of the degradation of America, and to the point of, danger with the COVID-19, and you're
yeah.
seeing these riots, and they're really getting ramped up to the point it wouldn't surprise me if we had a civil war,
Well, I'll
and
tell
I'm
you.
not
Yeah,
saying he is responsible for that, like in terms of at the root cause, but he certainly is part of
yeah.
exacerbating and accelerating it.
More than yeah,
Whereas I think Biden would do the opposite to that, like not completely the opposite. I'm not saying he's like
yeah,
I think someone like Sanders or Tulsi would have been ideal, or Yang would have been
right.
ideal in like providing ointment and getting to the cause, or Marianne, but we don't have that choice, right?
Well, yeah.
Um,
So I
so
think we still do, right? But everybody has their own things that kind of like speak to them differently, right? So the thing is that, like, earlier I said, like, some people might like be more like into the Tara Reid situation versus the grab by the pussy situation, right? And say like they're the same, right? Now for me, right, like the whole the protests and stuff isn't really like I guess it's a thing, but for me, the biggest thing is that Trump actually like cut more money for corporations, right? Leading to I feel like the real problem is the inequity of distribution of
Right.
resources
That
between
is
the
definitely at the
rich and the
root.
poor. For
Absolutely.
me, right, that's the most like that's the best argument, and that's actually the one that I felt like was one that you presented to me in our first meeting, and the one that I liked the best. So some people that's just not as important for them. You know what I mean? Some people just don't have that same viewpoint. So look, there's a lot of different reasons, and no one's gonna be like an encyclopedia know-it-all. But you do. That's one thing that I feel like you mentioned that a lot of people don't, right? About the tax differences, right? They just focus on like, orange man bad thing, but for me, like the tax thing
Or
is,
Biden bad, for that matter.
or Biden bad, yeah. So, and really, right, I think that also the people who are pushing like, Tulsi or Yang or, Bernie, right? Honestly, you guys need to have worked a little bit harder. Maybe you guys, like honestly, technically, supposedly we've lost. Now, I think that, right? People have learned too much. What do they call it? Learned helplessness. If everybody just goes out in November and just votes for who they want, I mean, things could change. But they could write in like they really got serious about it. But I don't think they're going to. But that possibility always
Yeah, I mean,
exists
when
for
you
me.
talk about
Yeah.
there being, a different option,
Yeah.
I'm presuming, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're referring to a third-party option, correct?
Or no, even within the party, yeah. Remember, I'm the one who always like. Remember in our first interview, I'm the guy who's always like, "Go for it! Like, train harder. You can do it." You know what I mean? So I always maintain that belief. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I totally get you. That's why I voted Jill Stein 2016. But I think that I'm not saying this applies to everyone,
You're
but
making the
my
same move as the
takeaway from
pros. I
that,
can't hate. You're making the same move as the pros. You know what I mean? Look, and here's another thing that I know from 20 years. I think that what's the Democratic Party base? Like 42 million, right? Yeah. Something like
mhm,
that, right? Yeah. And I have video why third parties fail. I know really well because I've been it for 20 years. I know real well why they fail.
right.
I know
The system
real
itself
well.
does not is
They're
it's not
outnumbered
really
so badly.
it's not only that
Yeah.
they're outnumbered, but the system itself is stacked against them. Like
That as well. That as
it's
well.
not
So yeah.
conducive.
Yeah. So all these
Because
people,
the
yeah.
system's set up in such a way they're not allowed in debates. They don't get
Yup.
federal funding.
Yup.
They're scapegoated. So it's really, you're really pinned up against the wall. And I'm never
Yeah.
one to say anything's impossible, but I am very, very keen on pointing out what's probable and what's
I live to
improbable. And I
achieve what
think
other
we
people
have to
say
be there.
impossible. Like that's my dream. I love that shit. You know what I mean? But I get the reasonableness and I get where you guys are coming from, and there's some credit to that too. And I get you. And the thing is that in the end, right? Like even though I like to do that, in the end, if someone's suffering or if there's like really something to be gained for the people that are homeless or really struggling, I'll that's my real like in the end I will bend for that. You know what I mean? So
Well, I
I think
mean,
a lot of people lose that.
think about it this way. Trump
Yeah.
actually cut funding for homeless people, and that whole project. Biden wants to like triple it. Like what was under Obama. Biden wants to increase minimum wage
See,
$15.
those
He
are
wants
things
to
that speak
provide
to me.
guaranteed
Yeah.
paid leave.
See, I
He wants
love
to
that, but
overturn
I'm sure a lot of
Citizens
people won't
United.
get
Like he
won't care.
actually
Yeah.
worked to overturn Citizens United with Obama. They fought against it. It's a lot. That's what I mean about gaslighting by left media and not having a nuanced discussion, not a balanced discussion. It was all about what was bad, what bad happened, bad happened,
Well,
and nothing
confirmation bias,
about
right?
what they accomplished.
You know about
Sorry?
confirmation bias, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
also, right, the thing is that like, unfortunately, negativity sells. You know what I mean? Like, which one are
Yeah,
you gonna buy? Like,
absolutely.
oh, this is kind of like okay, like kind of bad here, or this is the worst thing in the world. You know what I mean? Like, the second one
Yeah.
sounds more interesting. So like that's it just happens. But yeah, in the end, we all need to treat each other like humans. That's what I really believe. So that's what I want. Isn't that what we really all want?
Well, I do think that that's part of it, but I also believe, we got to think about what is going to end up getting results. Because if we really are
Exactly.
if
Exactly.
we really are thinking about like, oh, I'm a principled progressive, and I really want to see these homeless people taken care of, or their problems addressed, or I want $15, minimum wage, or I want, Medicare for all, so forth and so on, or the,
Yeah.
environment to be tended to. If we really, really believe in those, you can't just say like,
Yeah.
um, I'm principled and then go off and make an irresponsible choice.
Okay,
You have
so
to be responsible
okay, so
for the choices you
but I
make.
do have a question. Okay, so the thing is, right, like I don't see any reason to stop negotiating until November. You know what I mean? Like I think we should keep pushing for more.
There is a reason to stop negotiating at a certain point, and the reason is
Okay.
because now is a time where you should be assisting his image and promoting him. That is, whoever it is. In this case, for me, it would be Biden. I don't know about you, but now is not the time to challenge him. The time to challenge it. That's another one that I feel I once believed in, and I'm not suggesting that just because I changed my mind, you're going to too as well. But it is something that I ask you at least marinate in and to consider.
See, so I don't
Um,
think we have a difference in goal. I think we just have a difference in degree. You see what I mean? And that's fair.
It's
That's
strategy,
fine.
strategy, not even degree.
Okay.
Degree is the same as well. Like you and I want the same things. Like I want the climate to be taken seriously and to be off fossil fuels as soon as possible.
Once again, I
I
repeat,
want
not an
minimal
enemy.
minimal waste.
Not
I
an
want all of
enemy.
those things.
Ally.
We
If we're
aren't the
playing
enemy. We
FPS,
absolutely are not.
friendly.
We just
Friendly.
have different
Okay.
understandings.
Yeah.
We just have different understanding of how we're going to get there. Like
Yeah. That's not
you
a
believe it's
crime.
through the
It's not
third
a
party
crime. Yeah. Go ahead.
and working for that. You really believe that if you can, excite people toward that, enough will come out and it will happen. Like there'll be this magical moment. And I'm never going to be in a place to tell you that's that's not possible because I don't believe in and I don't believe in impossible. But I will tell you, however, if I'm going to be honest with you, I'm going to say it's extremely improbable. All right, that shouldn't deter you, but at least I would ask you to think about it.
Okay.
What does a results-oriented principle stand look like?
Well, okay.
And um, that's kind of like that saying, like sometimes we might actually wait for a downpour. We want like the big rain, right? And then we get a shower, and we like snub the shower away because I'm waiting for the downpour.
Well,
But
yeah.
that's something you'll just have to marinate and think for yourself. But like I pointed out, and I want to make this known, is he's eliminating mandatory minimums. He wants to eliminate Biden. That is private prisons. He's against for-profit charter schools. He's for free college.
Well, slow that
He
down.
has a
That's some good
student loan
stuff. Wait a minute.
forgiveness.
Really? He's getting rid of mandatory minimums for real? That's pretty deep. Really?
Yes, he is looking into eliminating mandatory minimums. He's looking into actually removing disparities, the
Private
cocaine
prisons?
prison
That's a
system.
huge industry. He's really taking that shit on,
Yeah,
really?
yes, he's taking on that. Now, again, I understand if you may not
Why isn't he
believe
marketing
his
the shit
rhetoric.
out of that? Why is he putting on these lame ass commercials? Why doesn't he
The
why does he
reason,
market
and
this
it's
stuff?
see, this is what I mean is like I feel like sometimes many progressives they come from a very rightful position. Why don't you promote that more? The reason in my own opinion, just based upon following politics for many years now and analyzing
Okay.
it,
Sure.
is because you have to remember that a good part of America is independent and Republican, and even the ones that are sort of like moderate Republicans that might consider voting for Biden, because they're scared of anything that looks too progressive or too socialistic, right? And
Yeah.
so he has to be very careful. Even though he was saying he understands what the protesters are doing and he wants justice for Floyd, but at the same time he was saying like we got to be careful about riots and looting, like that could go against us,
Yeah.
so that's what he's trying to ride that fence
I
because
have to
of
say that that's
politics.
that's true, and the thing is that a lot of my brothers and sisters out there in the lefty movements and stuff, right? The thing is that y'all are in your little echo chambers. Like I signed up for every single candidate, and when actually I was on the Biden 2020 page, you can see that I was did an analysis of like what do Biden supporters think of Kamala Harris for VP before she got selected, and their chat was booming. There was lots of people blowing up that chat right there. They were excited. So they
Yeah,
think like a lot of people don't understand like the numbers of people that are actually thinking this way and the realities of the political situation because they're trapped in their little
absolutely.
bubbles. Yeah.
There are a lot of people that think exactly like many of you guys. I wish you guys could come and see it. It has opened my eyes. There's so many people that want exactly what you guys are wanting out there for the Green Party. They want that too. But the thing is they understand like
Wait.
there's this
What do I
part
want
of
from? Wait,
America
I want
that's
from the who's you guys and what's the Green Party? What? I'm wrapped up in a battle with MPP right now, right? Did you know about that?
No, I didn't realize that.
Oh no.
That's new to me. No, that's new.
Okay.
That's new to my ears.
Oh,
What
interesting.
happened?
I've been emailing you. You didn't get the emails? Maybe it's
I
in your
did
spam
get
folder.
some of them early on,
Okay.
but honestly, I haven't been checking my NPV email that much.
It's all good. Check out the videos, man. It's a fun time,
Uh,
bro.
I'll definitely check that out. I'm very intrigued now.
Oh, cool. Okay.
But yeah, just let me go through some of this because I think it's important for people to hear if you don't mind.
Absolutely. I was
So
loving
we
that
were
list
talking
that you
about
gave. Yeah, the no
okay,
more private
ele-
prisons.
uh,
I was amazed. I never heard that one. Mandatory
okay,
minimums. What else?
he wants to put a limit on for-profit charter schools.
Okay.
He's also has a free college for those, and this is not idea, I get it. But it is a step in the right direction. And if we get that, then we move on. And
Is he
next
gonna
4 years,
forgive
we
student
say
loans? That would be fucking great.
he has, yes. So what he's got is a student loan forgiveness program
What?
up to 5 years and $50,000. And yeah, and it's for graduates and undergraduate students. Now, it's not cancel
I need that
everybody's
shit
loans
bad.
like that,
I'm fucked. I'm
right?
fucked,
And
man. I need help bad. Go ahead.
he is it's so he's also looking to make all junior colleges tuition free. Okay, it's not
Okay.
where we want it, like Bernie or Tulsi, who's universities, but it's just public 2-year colleges. So keep that in mind. Um,
It sounds like you have
he's
this as
also got,
a document. If you could send it as a graphic, I'm gonna put that on the screen. Okay.
yep, yeah, sure.
Okay. Cool.
Let me
Keep going.
see. Okay, and of course he's going to bring us back into the Paris Accord. Um, pay farmers off of climate.
Okay. What's the Paris Accord
And
for people who don't
so
know?
the Paris Accord was an agreement, a pact made by nations in where they all met in Paris. I think it was in 2007 or something like
Mm-hmm.
that, where they all made a pact to get
Environmental
off,
stuff,
and
right?
they put in a lot of trade deals into that
Okay.
agreement
Mm-hmm.
that we have to be off of certain fossil fuels and
Yeah.
things like that by a certain year. I don't know what the year is. I think it was like 2050.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
he's moved that up. When he met with Bernie Sanders and the Unity Task Force,
Okay.
he agreed to move it to 2035.
Okay.
Uh, he's also for citizenship for dreamers, of course. So that's another one that all those dreamers out there that are under risk for Trump, he's going to bring that back. And universal background checks, abortion rights, insurance coverage. His ACA is going to provide what's called a public option. I know it's not Medicare for all, but it is going to be a health exchange where everybody can go in and put in all of their data, and it will literally give you what kind of health care you could afford on a sliding scale,
Okay.
and what you qualify for, and will include pre-existing conditions.
Okay.
He also wants to limit deductibles and premiums as well as co-payments, so there'll be a limit on out-of-pocket costs. He also wants to have Medicare expanded to the age of from 65 down to move it down to 60, which is moving us toward Medicare for all. And he's also wanting to raise capital gains, and anyone making more than $400,000, he wants to increase tax on those people. Those are just some of the things.
Josh, you
That's not
knocked my
even all.
socks off, man. I love
A lot
all.
more.
That's a lot of facts right there. That's good shit right there. That's why I say Josh, not Vosh, for all the people out there, right? Okay. Yeah, that's why I say Josh, not
Appreciate
Vosh.
that.
Did
And
that
again,
list right there? That's what
I
man.
totally get for
Yeah.
people that's listening, like they're saying, well, like look at his track record. Is he going to keep his promises? Da
It's
da
not.
da. I
Yeah.
get all of that. I
Yeah.
totally get it. But we've got to, like just think about like I'm not against third parties. If you do that, I'm not gonna condemn you. I'm not gonna put you down or call you a name. I respect that. I respect your choice. Okay, I get it.
Right.
I did
So
it.
you should just take this
And I
list that
might
you
do it
just
again
had, and
someday.
that should be your tweets from now on. Don't no more of this you guys like moral high ground. No more of that crap, Josh. Okay, just take this list and just keep putting that up. That list is fire right there. Okay, sounds. What you agree?
Sure thing.
All right,
Oh yeah,
cool, man.
absolutely.
All
I'll
right,
I'll keep getting out there and doing what I can to show people, he's better than maybe we're giving him credit, and give him a chance. We gave Trump a chance. We can certainly give Biden a chance, right?
yeah.
And if not, then I feel like if anything,
I can't say I'm
there
as
is a
convinced yet.
possibility.
I mean, I'm a little salty, but I mean, your reasons are great. You know what I mean? That's exactly the kind of thing that I do want to hear. Those things are, honestly, those things are, those things were fucking great, man. I need to like look those things up and that'll make me think about it. You know what I mean? For real.
Yeah.
That's like the best freaking, right, enjoy, like reason to vote for Biden that I've heard for freaking the whole entire campaign. I've never heard such a good argument for
Yeah,
voting for
I will
Biden.
agree with
Seriously.
you. His campaign, like it's just like one of the worst I've ever seen when it
Yeah,
comes
it's
to promoting his policies.
yo Biden campaign. You better freaking hire Josh, because honestly, that list was ridiculously good. Okay, yeah,
But I think
seriously.
that
Okay.
some of that can't be blamed completely on him. I think some of it's COVID-19 as well, and mainstream
Mm,
media, they love sensation, so it drowns out his message. He has made some efforts to make known some of his policies, but I think unfortunately mainstream media just really, like I said, they focus on the riots and they focus on the Black Lives Matter and the the Antifa and like the Proud Boys and all that stuff. So,
yeah,
and Trump, hating Trump, bad Trump.
yeah.
So,
There's some, yeah, and the thing is that just I do respect that you don't turn a blind eye to the faults either. If you watch his other videos, I know he hasn't mentioned it in this particular video, but Josh is not the type to just believe me or not, I'm probably gonna lose some subscribers. Oh fuck, I don't give a fuck. This is
well,
about
no,
the
I mean,
truth. This is
you
about the
shouldn't lose
truth
those,
here. I
but
don't
you
give a
shouldn't
fuck
lose
about
those
none of that. I
subscribers
only care
because
about the truth.
it's not you, it's not on you though, dude. Because I'm
I
the
don't give a
one that,
shit. I'm
like,
not here to be
you know,
popular or to be liked or for access or for money. I'm here for the truth, and god damn it, that's it. You know what I mean? And to respect people and to provide to be a role model. I'm an old guy, man. You know what I mean? A lot of these youngins out here, they never knew nothing outside of the echo chamber. I'm gonna show you. You could listen to a guy, give him the time of day, and have respectful conversation, and come out friends. You know what I mean? Yeah. What's up?
absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Amen
So
to that one.
yeah. So honestly, that was a great list. I'm looking forward to that email. I just had to like get this on my chest because I can't stand to see people getting, you know, beat up. But yeah, no more of them posts, man. Just this list, okay? Anything else you want to say to my viewers
Yeah.
before you go, man? Because I basically, I just want to, I just had to get that off my chest right there. Thank you for coming on the channel, man. Anything else you want to share with my
Yeah,
viewers?
thank you. I appreciate you bringing me on, giving me a chance. Basically, I would just say that, everybody obviously is going to make their own choice, and I think we all want to do what we can to respect each other's choices. And if we are going to be talking on Twitter or Facebook, it's okay to discuss, why you support this candidate or that candidate and get into a back and forth on like why or you don't. That's all good, but try not to insult or like label each other and things like that. Just keep it cool, keep it logical. And I would say lastly, just keep in mind everything I've listed is just some of the policies that Biden has proposed, and everything I listed is none. Trump doesn't support any of those.
Yeah. My everybody has their special interest, and my special interest is in making sure that like homeless people and people who are on the fringes are taken care of. That's my number. That's what I love the most, and the truth and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So
That's why I'm for
yeah,
UBI. Let's hope
yeah,
that gets passed someday.
cool. Some people
I
are
don't know if you
into
support UBI.
and technically you're a Yang Ganger, aren't you? I have Yangers that watch my program. You know what I mean?
Yes, at this time,
Yeah.
I am definitely.
What
Yeah,
up,
I
Yang
saw
Gang?
that video.
Subscribe to Josh, man. He aight. For real. I watched some of his videos. I watched a video about like how the mainstream media like actually try to cut off Yang, right? And like very
Yeah,
early on, and that was very insightful. Like the way you broke it down about like how they want, how you said like the mainstream media actually, and how Fox News wants Biden as an opponent and stuff like that. So what I
right.
mean, like honestly, some people that I talk to say I'm a fan of Josh's content. So I'm a fan of a
Yeah, I
lot of
mean,
content.
definitely
Yeah.
Fox, like if it was down to, Trump or Sanders versus Biden or Tulsi versus Biden, there's no doubt Fox would choose Biden. No
Yeah.
question about that. Sure.
Yeah.
I get that.
And I definitely
Um,
understand all the other people that are not Biden. I get you too. But Josh made some great points today, and I don't think anybody could argue that. You know what I mean? Yo, seriously, no mandatory minimums. That's fucking huge, man. And no private prisons. Already right there, that's fucking huge to me. I know a lot of people locked up for no good reasons, and they fucked up, and it fucks up their life.
Yep, absolutely. Oh, did I also mention he wants to decriminalize marijuana? That's another one. I think it might be something your listeners might want to know.
You see me smoking the blunts on the thing. Sometimes I do that. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
So
I'm not proud of it. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, but yeah, like yeah, I appreciate that. I
it's all
probably
good.
should smoke less, but yeah, that's cool, man. Hey, once again, thanks again, man. You're a cool guy, man.
You're
And
welcome.
I consider you,
Thank you.
you know,
Appreciate it.
yeah, that's just my natural inclination. Anybody see attack, I'm jumping the way, man. You know what I mean? That's just natural. So, and you deserve it, man. I won't jump in the way for Vosh, but for Josh, hell yeah. Once again, Josh, not Vosh, get it out there. You know what I mean? Don't argue with the freaking, what do they call it, straw man? I don't even know these new terms, man. I'm an old cat, but don't make like a fucking guy like Vosh like some easy knockover like target that's trash. You know what I mean? Josh has some good points. You know what I mean? God bless you, man. I'll see you on the next one.
Thank
Hopefully
you
we'll talk
much.
again soon.
All right. Take care. You
God
too.
bless, my brother. See you.
It's a dark day in our nation when high-level authorities will seek to use every method to silence dissent. The truth must be told.
And if you want the truth, you need to check out independent media producers just like myself, djelf7. You should subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notifications when I release a new video.
The truth of these
We are
words
on all
is
the major
beyond
platforms.
doubt.
That includes Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course YouTube. Unfortunately, we have definitely seen that these mainstream outlets will cave to corporate interests, so we encourage you to join our independently moderated communities of Reddit and Discord. We also encourage you to subscribe to us on BitChute and Dailymotion so you can see the content that YouTube doesn't want us to let you see. Hey, now it's time for the most important part of the video. That's right. It's time for us to tell you about the Taking Action Group. Do you need an activist? Or maybe there's no activists around willing to help you with your cause and you need to learn to become an activist. That's exactly why we're here. Every week we get up with people from across the nation, in fact even sometimes internationally, and we develop strategies and a game plan to address the issues that are affecting all of us. Every week myself from New York City and of course my co-host Lisa from Los Angeles provide a coast-to-coast perspective on what's going on in the country. If you want to donate to help out with expenses, travel, equipment, stuff like that, then I definitely appreciate it and you can hit us off at Venmo or PayPal. Thanks a lot. Hey, by the way, we also have a merch store, so check it out. Oh my goodness, it seems like you've reached the end of the video, so make sure you check out some of our other videos, make sure you subscribe. This is your last chance to do so thanks a lot, and looking forward to seeing you on the next one. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please comment below if you have any questions or issues you'd like me to address. And if you're an activist, the time to make things happen is now.